Well, you know the old saying, all good things must come to an end. Unfortunately for Fairly Odd Parents, it has not been good in a very, very long time. And for whatever reason, the show just keep going, and they kept renewing it and renewing it. Seasons upon seasons. The show has been running for 15 years, and it just kept getting staler and staler, if staler's even a word. The show got very stale, is my point. But it seems like that's finally coming to an end because Nick and Moore, a very reliable source for schedules, programming blocks, etc., who I don't think they've ever been wrong. Their sources have always been on point. They tweeted out, "Oh no, it's finally happened. The long-running Fairly Odd Parents is moving premieres over to Nicktoons on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. starting January 18th. Nicktoons will also be airing a 60-hour Fairly Odd Takeover Marathon from January 14th at 6 a.m. through January 16th at 6 p.m. as a build-up to premieres." So what does this mean? In case you guys don't know, whenever a show moves over from Nickelodeon, the main network, which is available on basic cable packages, to Nicktoons, which is the sister network, and it's on digital packages, like it's not on the basic packages, which means it's available in less households and traditionally doesn't get that great of ratings. By moving a show from the main network to Nicktoons means the show is dead. There has not been a case where a show has not been dead and moved to Nicktoons. It's happened with Fanboy and Chum Chum, Harvey Beaks more recently, Back to the Barnyard, Tack and the Power of Juju, Planet Sheen, Invader Zim, My Life as a Teenage Robot. The list goes on. Basically, any animated series you can think of on Nickelodeon has ended up moving to Nicktoons and dying off at some point. Because Nickelodeon just does not know how to finish shows. I remember there was an article a year or two ago how Nickelodeon, as a channel, like the main channel itself, holds the record for the most unaired content a network can have. I think it was like 60 hours of unaired content. Because they never finish their own shows on their own network. They always move to other networks. Now, sometimes they'll go back and air a show at like 6 a.m. weekday mornings or premieres. I know they did that with My Life Teenage Robot and El Tigre. Like a few months after they aired Nicktoons, they finally aired on the main network to end the shows off properly. But at the same time, it was 6 a.m. You're not ending it properly. You're ending it when people are getting ready for work and children are like waking up for preschool. So after all this time, what made Nickelodeon move Fairly Odd Parents to Nicktoons and basically decide, yeah, this is the end. The end is here. Well, first things first, the show, I'm glad this is probably its last season. A cancellation has not been confirmed, but the show got moved to Nicktoons. It's as good as dead. This season has become a shell of itself. They added the new neighbor girl, Chloe, and it's just been a mess ever since then. And I guess a little bit into the new season, they actually switched into Flash animation because I saw a gif of how the show is now animated in Flash, and it looks awful. It looks terrible. When Fairly Odd Parents of all shows is switching to Flash animation, it's time to go. When you can't even put in the resources, time, and effort to traditionally animate it, then it's time to go. But I think the important thing is Nickelodeon doesn't need Fairly Odd Parents anymore. They have SpongeBob still, but they also have The Loud House, which has proven to be a hit. It has a really big fan base within the few months the show's been airing. It's a new, fresh concept, and it works. And Nickelodeon has been spamming it in marathons already. It's been getting extremely good airtime, and it's way cheaper to produce than Fairly Odd Parents. And this is a blessing in disguise because Fairly Odd Parents has been going on for years. It just kept getting renewed over and over again. It was supposed to end at Channel Chasers in 2004. And now here we are 12 years later, nearly 13 years later, and it's still going, but it looks like this is the end. And if it just ended after Channel Chasers, it would have been fine. Hell, if it ended in 2006, when it got canceled the first time, it would have gone off on a decent note. That season wasn't anything spectacular, but the show wasn't stale yet. And then they kept going and added Poof, which I didn't mind. I actually liked Poof as a character. I like the concept of Timmy having a baby brother who can also grant him wishes. And they missed out on a lot they could have done with Poof. They could have had Timmy in a moral dilemma, and if he wants to be a good example and role model for his little brother, or if he just wants to use his little brother to get wishes that Cosmo and Wanda are kind of hesitant to grant. Poof got exhausted quickly. And then came Sparky, the dog, who never stuck. None of his jokes hit. He was just weird. The comedic timing with Sparky was awkward. It never really fit. It was just completely awful. And then they added Chloe, And dear Lord Jesus, they changed the theme song and everything. Like, why did you have to touch the theme song of all things? You didn't add Sparky into the theme song, so why are you adding it for Chloe? Why are you changing the whole entire thing for Chloe? And I can see if it was just like one episode for season opener, but it was for the entire season. Needless to say, Fairly Oddparents has not been itself in a very long time. A lot of the old cast members like Chester, AJ, Elmer, Trixie, Tootie, Francis, they've all like faded into obscurity. The show is literally just Mr. Crocker, Timmy's parents, Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda, and then their gimmick of the week. The show went from Timmy trying to make it in the world as kind of this outcast who has fairy godparents that aid him in his everyday life, whether if it's to be popular or be the smartest kid in class, you know, relatable things, to just Timmy becoming a complete psychopath, selfish, egotistical. It was really bad. And like I said, it had so many times it could have ended. Channel chasers, Wishology, Timmy's secret wish, etc. Yet for whatever reason, they kept going, and it just got really tired. So, what do you think of Fairly Oddparents finally ending? Please comment down below. This is one of those instances where I'm glad it's out the door. It's finally being put out of its awful existence. Put it out of its misery. Don't let it rear its ugly head again. May it find peace and reruns of seasons 1 through 4 on Nicktoons. And as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. Follow us on social media. Links to everything in the description down below. Ostrich Vox, signing out.